What if the most advanced piece of technology your baby has access to is your skin? Not a white noise machine, not a swaddle, not a $400 smart bassinet, just your skin. Because here's what most parents don't realize: your body isn't a backup plan, it's the original design, engineered over millions of years to regulate your baby's temperature, heartbeat, breathing, and stress response, all through touch. Here's what the research shows. When a baby makes skin-to-skin contact with a caregiver, something happens that no other intervention can fully replicate. Their heart rate stabilizes, their temperature regulates, their cortisol drops, their brain activity shifts. It's not a comfort thing, it's not a preference, it's a biological event. And yet, most of us spend the first months of parenthood doing everything to avoid it at bedtime. We swaddle, we transfer, we tiptoe, we celebrate when they stay down for 20 minutes like we just won the Super Bowl. Before we go on, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if you're loving this story, subscribe, because tomorrow we have something extra special waiting for you. Today we're talking about what actually happens when your baby touches your skin and why it's not a bad habit. It's biology doing exactly what it was designed to do. Here's the thing we were never taught in school. We learned that skin is a protective layer, or barrier, the thing that keeps your insides in and the outside out. Which is true, but that is approximately 10% of what skin actually does. Human skin is one of the most sophisticated sensory organs in the body. It's covered in millions of nerve endings, dozens of different receptor types, each tuned to a different quality of touch, pressure, temperature, vibration, pain, and something else. Something that most people have never heard of. See tactile afferents. Say that 3 times fast. Or don't, because it's not a competition. The point is, these are a specific class of nerve fibers in the skin, and they are remarkable. They don't respond to all touch. They respond specifically to slow, gentle, skin-to-skin contact. The kind of touch you give when you're holding a sleeping baby against your bare chest. The kind that happens naturally during skin-to-skin care. And when these fibers are activated, they send a signal directly to the part of the brain that processes social bonding, emotional regulation, and safety. Not pain, not danger, not information. Safety. Your skin has a dedicated neural pathway for communicating safety. And it has been there for millions of years, because in the evolutionary timeline of the human species, slow, gentle touch from another person meant one thing: you are not alone, you are not in danger, the threat has not arrived yet. For an adult, this is a nice feeling. For a newborn, it is something they cannot live well without. Let's talk about the situation your baby is in the moment they arrive in the world. At birth, a human infant's brain is approximately 25% developed, which sounds alarming, and it is a little bit, but it's also intentional. It's the evolutionary trade-off for having a skull that fits through the birth canal. We deliver early and we finish the development outside. But that means the systems that other species are born with fully online, temperature regulation, breathing rhythm, heart rate stability, stress response. In humans, those systems are still under construction for months after birth. They work, but they don't work reliably. They need support. And the way they get that support, the mechanism evolution built for exactly this situation, is borrowed regulation from the caregiver's body. This is called co-regulation, and it is not a metaphor. When your baby is in skin-to-skin contact with you, their physiology literally borrows stability from yours. Your steady heart rate helps organize their less steady one. Your breathing rhythm gives their developing respiratory system a template. Your body temperature, maintained automatically by your incredibly sophisticated adult body, takes over the job their immature system cannot yet manage consistently on its own. You are a biological life support system. You are running on a fully developed operating system, and your baby is borrowing your processing power through their skin, which is a nice metaphor, but it also undersells how literal this is. So let's get specific. We'll go system by system because this is where it gets genuinely incredible. Newborns cannot thermoregulate effectively. Their bodies lose heat rapidly, especially from the head and through the skin. Incubators in neonatal intensive care units exist because of exactly this problem. But here's the remarkable thing. Research on kangaroo care, which is the practice of placing a premature infant against the parent's bare chest, found that the parent's chest temperature adjusts dynamically in response to the baby's temperature. If the baby gets too cold, the parent's skin warms up. If the baby overheats, the parent's skin cools down, automatically, without any conscious effort. Your chest is a responsive thermostat. It is more accurate and more adaptive than an incubator. This has been measured and replicated. The parent's body does this specific thing for this specific purpose. When skin is touching skin, your temperature regulation system extends to cover your baby. Infants have a phenomenon called periodic breathing, natural, normal pauses in their breathing rhythm that can last a few seconds before the breath resumes. In premature infants especially, these pauses can become apneic episodes, where the breath doesn't automatically resume and stimulation is needed to restart it. Skin-to-skin contact significantly reduces the frequency of apneic episodes. The mechanism is partly the physical stimulation of being against a moving, breathing body. Every breath you take is a gentle physical prompt to your baby's system, but it's also the sensory environment of your skin. The warmth, the texture, the smell, the heartbeat conducting through your chest wall, all of it combined keeps their arousal at the level where breathing stays online. You breathe, they feel it, their system stays calibrated. Cortisol is the primary stress hormone. In adults, we think of it as the thing that makes us anxious before presentations or unable to sleep when we're worried. In infants, elevated cortisol is a sign that the threat detection system has been activated, and the threat detection system in a newborn activates very easily, because from an evolutionary standpoint, almost everything in the external environment is potentially dangerous. Studies measuring cortisol in infants separated from caregivers during sleep have found that levels begin rising within minutes of separation, not hours, minutes, even when the baby appears to be sleeping comfortably, even when they're not crying. The stress response is running quietly in the background because the regulatory input, the skin contact, has been removed. When skin-to-skin contact is restored, cortisol begins to clear. The stress response deactivates, and the brain, now no longer running an alert response in the background, can focus on what sleep is actually for. Sleep is not downtime for an infant brain. Sleep is construction time. During sleep, the brain consolidates the experiences of the day into memory. It prunes unnecessary neural connections. It floods the body with growth hormone. It processes sensory information and integrates it into developing neural networks. All of this works better, measurably, scientifically better, when the stress response is not running in the background. A brain that is simultaneously doing sleep construction and managing a low-grade alert state is a brain with divided resources. All skin-to-skin contact turns off the alert state, and that freed-up resource goes directly into development. This is not theoretical. Studies of premature infants who received kangaroo care versus standard incubator care found measurable differences in brain development on imaging, more organized neural architecture, faster maturation of key systems in the skin-to-skin group. The difference between those two groups was skin contact. That's it. Let's go back to the C-tactile afferents because there's more to say about them and they deserve it. These nerve fibers are found throughout the skin, but they're particularly dense in the areas most naturally involved in caregiving touch: the chest, the arms, the neck, the hands, the areas of a body that hold a baby. It is almost certainly not a coincidence that the nerve fibers most responsive to gentle caregiving touch are concentrated exactly where caregiving touch tends to happen. These fibers have a specific response profile. They fire most strongly to touch at the speed of a gentle stroke, about 1 to 10 centimeters per second. They are less responsive to firm pressure or fast movement. They are tuned specifically to the slow, gentle, warm contact of a caregiver's skin against an infant's. When these fibers are activated, the signal travels to the posterior insular cortex, a region of the brain involved in processing social touch and interoception, the sense of what's happening inside your own body. From there, it connects to the systems that regulate stress response, emotional tone, and the release of oxytocin. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone associated with trust, closeness, and safety, and it is released in both the baby and the caregiver during skin-to-skin contact. It's a mutual process. The baby's system is calmed, the caregiver's bonding response is activated. Both of them are changed by the contact in ways that reinforce the relationship. Evolution built a specific nerve fiber, densely concentrated in caregiving body regions, tuned to the exact speed of a gentle parental touch, connected directly to the bonding and stress regulation systems of the brain. That is not an accident, that is a design. If you have spent time with a very young baby, you've noticed something. They have opinions about where on you they want to be. And for most babies, especially in the early months, the preference is specific. Chest, ear toward your heart, face turned into your body. This is not random. This is their nervous system finding something it has been looking for since before birth. Before your baby could see your face, before they could recognize your voice as a distinct sound, before they had any conscious experience of you as a person, they knew your heartbeat. They had been hearing it, feeling it conducted through fluid and tissue since before their auditory system was fully online. The rhythm of your heart was the first organized sensory experience their developing brain ever processed. It was the original normal, the baseline from which everything else was measured. When they press their ear to your chest at 3 a.m., they are finding a signal their brain has been tuned to for longer than they have been alive. And when they find it, when their nervous system recognizes that rhythm, something in them settles in a way that nothing else produces. You have seen this. The specific quality of stillness that happens when they find the position, not the restless, fidgeting stillness of a baby in a swing, the complete, immediate, total stillness of a baby who has found what they were looking for. That is a nervous system recognizing home. There's one more thing skin-to-skin contact does during sleep that almost never comes up in mainstream parenting conversations, and it is genuinely remarkable. When your baby sleeps against your bare skin, they are exposed to the specific bacterial microbiome that lives there, the community of microorganisms that has co-evolved with humans over millions of years and plays a crucial role in immune system development. Your baby's immune system, like their brain, is unfinished at birth. It learns, it develops through exposure. And one of the most important things it needs early in life is the right microbial environment. Research has shown that infants with frequent skin-to-skin contact develop more diverse and more robust microbiomes of their own. They show lower rates of certain infections and allergic conditions. They have more developed immune responses. Your skin is seeding your baby's immune system. Every time they rest against your bare chest, they are receiving microbial information their developing immune system needs to learn from. This is part of why kangaroo care was so dramatically effective for premature infants. It wasn't just temperature regulation and cortisol reduction. The skin contact was also restoring a microbial environment that NICU surfaces couldn't provide. Your ordinary, unremarkable human skin is an immune training ground. None of this means you need to hold your baby skin to skin every moment of every night forever. Sustainable caregiving requires that you remain functional. You are also a person. But it does mean that the times when skin contact matters most are transitions, the moments around falling asleep and waking between sleep cycles. Babies cycle through sleep approximately every 45 minutes, and during those lighter transitions, a regulatory check happens. Is the safe person here? Is the heartbeat available? Is the environment continuous? If they surface from sleep and the answer is yes, if the skin is still there, the warmth is unbroken, they often drift back down without ever fully waking. If the answer is no, the alert system activates. Not because your baby is difficult, because their nervous system is doing exactly what it was built to do. Here is what I want you to take away from all of this. The need your baby has for your skin is not a phase to be managed out of. It is not a dependency to be discouraged. It is not evidence that you have created a baby who is too attached, too needy, too accustomed to being held. It is a biological system operating correctly. Your baby reaches for your skin because your skin is genuinely, measurably, physiologically necessary for them right now. It regulates their temperature, their breathing, their stress hormones, their brain activity, and their immune development all at once. It sends a direct signal of safety through pathways that were designed over millions of years to receive exactly this. And the heartbeat they find against your chest? That's the first sound their nervous system ever learned to love. Long before your face, long before your voice, long before they knew your name or understood what a mother or a father even was, there was that sound, steady, rhythmic, constant. You have been their home since before they knew what home meant. So when you lie there in the dark, baby against your chest, their breathing finally slow, their grip finally loose, wondering if you're doing this right, you were home before they were even born. You still are. And right now, that is enough. And that's our story. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. And tomorrow we have more stories waiting for you. Thanks for watching.